action. Hello and welcome back to season 2 of A Tad Bit Older. My name is Pearl. As some of you may know, my co-host Juliet has stepped away from the podcast. She had some exciting adventures come up for her and her family, and we do wish her the best, and we thank her for sharing her life with us and her journey. If you still want to keep up with Juliet, you can find her on her Instagram and her TikTok, and I will share it in the description below on both the audio and the YouTube. I hope you guys are all having a happy new year and you guys had a great holiday. We had a nice restful time off and we're so excited that you are back with us this season. We have so many new and fun and exciting things that we are going to do. But for our first episode, I am so excited to have our very first guest. Her name is Karen. Hi, Karen.
Hi, everybody.
So
this is exciting.
This is your first podcast, right?
First podcast, yes.
Welcome.
I'm so sorry for all the ums and likes. I'm getting used to that.
Oh my gosh, don't even worry about it because I still do it, and my advice to you is just go with
the flow.
Everybody does it. Like, I'll listen to other podcasts and like top high profile famous podcasts, they're
Yeah, that makes sense.
That was just something I said at the beginning, like, guys, I have anxiety and I have a nervous tick and I like clear my throat a lot. I'm like, but that means something fun is about to come out of my mouth. So my advice, don't get hung up on the little quirks or little things that you do.
Things that make you you.
Yeah, because people love that. I mean, everybody's that way. But see, there we go. But Karen, I met you and we've talked about this before. So if you've been here since season 1, we recently attended a group team building session with Karen in the, I always mess the name up.
Nicole the Medium.
With Nicole the Medium, but.
Oh, Cherie?
Yeah, but what's the creative? What's the name?
Creative. I have it over here. Comparison killed the creative.
Comparison killed the creative.
Comparison killed the creative.
So Karen is a part of Comparison Killed the Creative with Nicole the Medium. And so we were so lucky to go to their event last year where they did therapy cards.
Yes.
Where we got to make our own tarot card and design it, and it was so fun because we got to pull a word out, choose, and that word, that phrase was meant for us, and it was so spot on. Everything
the universe just brings it to you.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I teared up.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
I was like,
I don't mean to cry.
Oh my god,
I wasn't ready.
Yeah, he was so not ready.
I was I was drinking my coffee, I was chilling, and she's like, boop, 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 pull the cards, and then she's like, oh, this one right here. And I was like,
he's never had a reading.
Ugly cry, Kim Kardashian cry.
I'm all sorry.
And he was the only man. He was the only guy at that event. When we got there, he was like, oh wait, this is I'm like, no, you're belong fine. Here. You're here for a reason. So that's where we met Karen. Yes. I was so fortunate. I already have had readings with Nicole the Medium, but I got to have a reading with Karen, and oh my goodness, guys, she was so spot on.
Thank you.
We honestly, we never had met. We didn't follow each other on social media. I mean, I was stalking her, but she wasn't stalking
I didn't know.
She didn't know I was stalking her. And so she was so spot on, and she said exactly what I need to hear. And just in those short few snippets out. And I felt like I took so much of her time because I love readings. I love
You're like, give me more.
I was like, and what about this? And what about that? So that's where I met her, and I was just so intrigued by her, and I've been, like I said, stalking her. And she's so unique. So tell us a little bit about you.
Where to begin? How deep do we get? Do we want to cry or not?
I love to cry. I think people know. So what I'm so interested in, Karen, is that you have not one but 2 passions, which I know people say you got to niche down. You need to find your thing. But Karen is not niching down, and she does it all. So tell us your 2 things that you do.
So I do hair too. I have my own little chair. I rent a chair out. I do hair. It's at Figgy Beauty. And I started doing that. Well, I graduated from beauty school when I was 17, 18 years old. So I've been doing it for a while. But then got pregnant. and kind of gave that up and went into like corporate America, banks and all of that. And then around 2019, I was like, I got to do this again. Like, I miss it. I wasn't happy in corporate America. And at that time, I was married. And my ex-husband at that time was opening up a barber shop. So I was like, it's the right time. Like, quit the job, run the barber shop, and have like a little area for me to do hair. So that's what happened. I started doing hair. And then around 2022, 23, I started following Nicole the Medium.
Okay.
And I was always drawn to her. I always thought I was a bruja in my own world. So I was just like, cool, let me go with this vibes. And I think around 2023, she posted like something about some of you followers are like, you know,
needing to hear a message.
You guys are mediums too. Like, if you resonate with this message, reach out to me. And I did. And I was just like,
the rest is history.
Let's do this. What do you think about it? And she was like, let's do a course. I'll help you out. And just went with the flow. Was going through a divorce at that time too. So I was just like, throw myself out somewhere else and kind of figure out who I am and what I am about. And just vibing with her, she was like, I like you. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
So now I'm like part of her brand.
Yes.
So I'm an intern for her. Wherever she goes, I'm at. We just went to Sedona. We do like little outings together, and she's just like my mentor. I go to her whenever I don't know what's going on. I go to her whenever I don't know what's happening in my life. And she's just been like such a light in the dark tunnel that I was going through at that time.
She does have this like, because even though I mean, I know who she is, she may not know me personally.
That's how I felt at that time too.
But I feel like, oh my gosh, we could be best friends.
Yeah,
we
she's
could,
just
like,
so welcoming.
she's so
Her
welcoming
vibe, her
and so
aura.
comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of what I felt with you. Just sitting there with you, I was like, oh my god, I feel like I've known Karen forever. Like,
we've been besties since day
yeah,
one.
like I was like, she just like told me my whole life, like in a little, like what I've been going through in a little snippet. So I love that. Well, what I'm so intrigued about is how you found that like aha moment. Like, you were doing hair, you're going through, like, what was it that like you're like, I'm gonna do this? Because you said you always felt like you had those powers.
Yes, since I was a little kid, my parents have always been big on like going to brujas and like getting tarot card readings, egg cleanses, like doing all these different like Mexican heritage stuff that they do. And they would always tell them like, that daughter, me, has something about her. She's gifted. There's something, protect her the most, because she's also the most empathetic out of all your daughters. And whatever bad juju they're trying to do to you, it goes to her.
Wow.
And throughout my whole life, I was always like sick. I've always had like depression, anxiety. Like, I've always dealt with the most out of all my siblings. So it always resonated when they would tell me that. But the aha moment was, I had a dream back in like 2023, like the beginning of the year. No, like around, I think March or April, I had a dream. I dreamt that I was with my husband at that time, and he had asked me for a divorce. And it was just like a weird dream. You know how we get those dreams, he cheated, I cheated, whatever. And I was like, whatever, that's it. But then like 3 months later on, he asked me for the divorce, and it was like pretty much dead set how my dream was.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, this is a sign. Like, I've always had like little dreams like that, and I've seen it come in reality.
Okay.
I've had different situations where I'll tell friends like, this is gonna happen with you, and it's happened.
Okay.
But that dream was so vivid to me, and then when it actually happened, I was just like, okay, like, this is my calling.
Real. This
is
real.
what, like, I'm not just
I'm not trauma. Just a coincidence.
Yeah, it's not trauma. It's not things, you know how they say like, your therapist tells you like, oh, it's your trauma speaking, like, you think you know it because of your trauma.
You're fearful. Those are just I'm so fascinated with dreams too.
Yes.
I've always had like a
Me
dream
too.
dictionary. I look up
dream
my
books,
dreams.
encyclopedias. Me too.
Yeah. What's your thought? Like, are dreams really messages for us, or are they just, we ate late and then we had a weird dream?
I believe it's a message. Like, whether like when it's like a cheating dream, I don't think it's like they're cheating on you, but I think it's like an insecurity of yours. So it's like some sort of like message to you for you to work on the relationship.
Okay.
Not per se that there is infidelity, but there's always like something there.
There's something that you need to like pick apart in there. There isn't.
And even when you read those dream books, you know how they say like, if you dream of snakes, it means that there's like bad people around you, negative around you. When you dream of death, it means that there's a new baby coming your way. Like there's like little snippets like that you can look at it that way. But for me, my dreams have always been vivid, where it's like it happens later on the same exact way I dreamt it.
So it's a real so when
it's like a date, like, you know how you get deja vu?
Yeah,
it was like a deja vu type of moment.
So when you get messages, are they, because I feel like, I mean, we all think we have like, a little bit of like,
a little bruja in you.
A little bruja. But sometimes I think something like so simple as like, oh, I should pick that up because it's gonna break, and then it breaks.
Intuition.
And then so do your messages come to you that way? Are they visions? Are they voices? Are they dreams?
My messages, like my readings, come from my thoughts. Like I hear a voice, but it's not my inner voice. You know how when you think, you hear your personal voice saying like, this is gonna happen, that's gonna happen. Mine is like a narrator's voice telling me what's gonna happen.
Oh wow.
And I also get this gut feeling, and it takes years of like discerning like what's a gut feeling and what's just you're hungry or just
a stomach ache.
It takes years of me trying to figure that out. But now that I've done it for a while, like I have that gut feeling of like, oh, it's a yes, it's a no, or like something. I also sometimes will like smell certain things.
Oh.
And I'll be like, oh, like it's a fire, this is happening or that's happening. But I never visualize. I always hear, smell, or feel. And I'm an empath, so I'll feel like if you're anxious, I'll feel your anxiety. Like I'll feel your heart beating really hard, and I'll have to decipher, is it my heartbeat or is it their heart?
Do you feel anxiety as well?
Yeah, sometimes
so
I
you're
do.
Feeling it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm feeling. So I'll be like, is it my anxiety? Because I'm anxious. So is it mine? And I'm like, no, but I'm not anxious. So then that's where I'm like, it's the other person.
Interesting.
And it's funny because when I do readings as well, like I'll calm myself. Like I'll meditate. I'll have a snack. Like I do things that I enjoy. And then as soon as I get on the call or as soon as I do the voice notes, I'll pick up on that energy. So I'll pick up on the anxiousness, on the sadness, the sometimes like the depression. Like it'll be like debilitating. Like I don't want to get up. I don't even want to speak. So it's like very empathetic of that part. Which growing up, I always knew I had. But back then it wasn't like a big thing.
Yeah.
It was just like, you're weak. You need to be stronger. You need to be more tougher type of stuff. But now that I'm at this point, I'm like, oh, it was always part of me. Like I've always been able to resonate with other people and like literally feel their feelings.
Yeah. So is that something you can turn off and on? Like you can sit here with us and be like, not feel, not get messages, or is it something that comes to you and you have to be like, I'm not doing this?
It always comes to me. I always feel the feelings, but I'm able to like not let it psych me out. Like I'm able to not like blur it and be like, oh, this is coming for you. Like I'm just able to hold it in. And then if I feel like it's pressing and it's something like I want to really say, I'll kind of dig deeper and ask questions.
Got it.
I'll dig kind of like when I was, before we started this, I was asking like, do you have a boy and a girl? Because I'm getting boy and girl energy. And we kind of got deeper and I asked and I was like, oh, okay.
That's what you're feeling.
Exactly.
So do you, like you said, sometimes it gnaws at you and you're able to brush it off. But if it keeps coming, is that because that's a message that needs to be heard?
Yes.
And you need to say it so you could be done with it. Okay.
Sometimes I'll write it out. Like even if I don't want to say to the person, like I put on my notes. I have a note thing and I'll notate what I felt or what I was thinking. Especially when I do hair, it happens to me a lot.
That's what I was going to ask that.
You must pick up
You're
a lot.
dealing with so much energy.
So when I do hair, I'll pick up on certain stuff. And if it's a new client, I'll try not to like really get so deep, you know? Depending on how deep they want to get, I'll notate whatever I felt. And then as sessions come and they keep coming to me and we get closer and deeper, then I'll be like, oh, by the way, in the beginning, I felt this. And then they're like, oh my God, yeah, at that time I was going through this or this was happening. So I'm able to later on say it, but I always notate it so I can say it again, or I can at least know I'm not going crazy. Because most of the time I have these feelings, I'm like, I'm just crazy.
So when you say things like you came in and you're like, oh, I feel a male, like a boy and girl energy. What does that mean though? When you say you feel a boy and girl energy, does that mean you feel a presence? Like, does that mean there's a message? Like, what does that mean when people say that? Oh, I feel it, I hear
just
that a lot.
When I thought of you guys, I pictured you guys a family of 4 with a boy and a girl.
Okay.
In my head, I didn't see like the faces. I just picture you and your significant other and then a boy and a girl. but I felt a lot of like girl energy too, because I was like, maybe she's just very dramatic, very girly, you know. But in my head, the perfect family for you guys, I saw a boy, girl, and you two.
Okay.
And that's when I get boy energy.
You know how people say like, oh, you're in your feminine energy, you're in your masculine energy. That's not what you're feeling.
I
You're
don't get
actually
that.
feeling the presence of a boy, like a male and a female.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting. And you mentioned something so that like I'm so intrigued by you. But like you said, when you're doing hair, when taking us over to that profession that you do, have you ever, because you're in the business of like servicing people, and
meeting a lot of people,
and you're amongst so much energy, and you did mention like before a reading, before a phone call or something, you meditate, you have a snack, you get comfortable. But when you're coming in contact with so much energy and people, when you're doing hair, how do you balance that out? How do you kind of separate Karen the medium from Karen, Figgy Beauty from Get Figgy with it? Or do you?
Depends. I think when it's like my usual clients that already know me and know my readings and all that, I come in just as both. I come in wearing both hats. I come in talking to them, literally a therapy session, like we'll be crying, laughing. They'll come in and be like, I have this question, what do you feel about it? Like they literally come to me and use both of my readings and my hair services.
Yeah.
When it's a new client, that's when for sure, like, I come in as professional Karen.
Okay.
I come in as, what color do you want your hair? What did you do to your hair before? Like, more hair part of it. And as I'm talking to them and trying to figure them out, I then decide if it's okay to bring up my readings.
Okay.
Because
your gifts.
I'm very good with reading people.
Okay. Yeah.
So I can tell the vibe if they're down with that kind of spirituality or if they're down with other stuff. Right. So right away off the bat, I'll get that vibe and then I'll know what hat I have to wear.
Okay.
When it's my friends, it's so much easier. But when it's a new client, new customer, I am more like, okay, asking probing questions. What do you do for a living? How many kids? Like little things. And then I'll get the vibe of, are they interested in knowing that I do readings or not? And if they are, then of course I'll be like, by the way, I also offer readings. I can do one here, or you can book at any time, or we can do Zoom reading calls, whatever you need. And then we'll go off of that. Mm-hmm. But first I read the person. Like first I get the vibes off of them, and then I kind of decide if I want to open up about that part of my life or if I don't. And I've had customers that don't vibe with that.
They're not interested.
Yeah, so I won't even bring it up. I've had friends that have reached out to me and told me like, that's for the devil. Yeah. Like it doesn't work with God. And I'm not judgmental. I'm like, thank you for your perspective. And they send me videos of why they think it's like that. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'll listen to it. I'll watch it. And I'm like, that's your perspective. Like I understand it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you feel that way. I'm glad that you're so close to that part of your life. And not saying that I'm not, but we just have different upbringings and different views of life.
Yeah. Are you a religious person?
I grew up very religious. My Catholic.
I was gonna say,
I was Catholic. I did my baptismal, catechism, like all that, all my
First
sacraments, all that stuff. And now I don't go to church so much, but I believe in something.
Right.
I don't know for sure if it's God or just the universe. But I know there's a higher power for sure.
What does your family think about?
I was gonna ask that.
About that.
They beat you to it. My mom thinks it's so cool because, like I said, they've always grown up cool. And
I love that.
They've always loved like the whole tarot cards, the oracle cards, the readings. They believe in like past lives and all of that. So she's always been very open to anything that I'm into, especially because I've always been the weird one I'm 1 out of 6 girls. Wow. I've always been the weird one, the one that's like emo, eccentric, cut her hair off, always done it all. So she's like used to my weirdness. So when I told her, she was just like, that's cool. Like, read my cards.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that's embarrassing. She's like, no, like,
weird
that's exciting.
Weird is the new cool.
Yes, exactly.
We have a weird one too.
Yeah, we tell our daughter to be weird too.
Yeah, my daughter's 10 and she's very creative one and very artistic and very out there and different like I was when I was little. Yeah. So I'm always like, cool.
Yeah.
Do what you gotta do.
Those are the best people.
Yeah, exactly.
I welcome it. I was gonna say, you're probably like the coolest amongst
That's
your
what
family.
I always tell them. I'm always like, you are cool for being different. Like, if you're normal, that's not cool.
Yeah, well, like if you're ordinary like everybody else, it's like, okay, what sets you apart?
We tell her stuff like, you know, she'll say like she has a quarrel with a friend, and we're like, you haven't found your people yet. You
Yeah,
know
exactly.
I mean?
Oh my God. And that's what I'm so scared of, because they're 10.
Right.
And they haven't hit the puberty part of like teenage years when girls are really catty and they start rumors of you. Yeah. And my daughter's so innocent and sweet. I'm like, she's gonna have such a hard time.
I think what we're trying to do, because our daughter's 10 too, we're just building her up to like, just like fuck them all. Yeah. Like, the sooner you learn that you don't need people's approval and that people are not always gonna like you, like the better off you're gonna be. And she's so good at like being like she just said the other day, she goes, you know, during this time off from school, Mom, she's like, I was really thinking about a lot of my friendships, and you know what, I don't like a lot of those people. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, you know what, I was thinking back to conversations and they're kind of mean. I was like, yeah. I was like, they are. I was like, but you have to accept people for who they are. But that doesn't mean that you have to
be with them or get along with them.
Yeah, like you don't have to be mean to anybody. You can just, and she's broken up with friends, you know, because she's at a new school and she's really good. Like, she'll befriend people, and then after she gets to know them, like I teach her, like, not everyone's your friend. Now. Yeah. Then she's like, and she's had to tell people like, I think you're a really good person, but I don't think we're for each other. But I wish you the best, and I'll say hello to you. It's so.
Does it ever bite you in your ass pretty much? Sometimes. Because you guys tell her like, be who you are. Yeah. Well, stick up for yourself. And do they use that against you? We told
her like, if that girl does it again, punch her in the face.
Toward us?
Towards you guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I've told my kids like, be who you are. Like,
don't let everybody talk to you this way.
And when I, get on them, she's like, but you said not to let anybody. I'm like, but I'm your mom.
You can't talk to me like that. I'm like,
and I'll be like, I'm sorry, I acted out of character. That was, it's okay. And then I'm like, no, it's not okay. Yeah, like you do not accept that from anybody. Not your mom, not your dad, not your boyfriend, not your grandma, not your best friend. Like, it is not okay. Yes. That's a me problem that I need to work on. I'm still healing, but that's not your fault.
But it also bit us in a way. Like, she had a altercation with a girl, like a verbal. Mm-hmm. And then we're like, if she says that to you again, like just push her off of you, or just like give her a little pop. You know what I mean? And she did. She popped her, and we're like, I didn't want you to punch her. Like, I just meant like
shrug her off. Personal space.
I told her, give yourself some space. You're in my bubble, and she's like, boop, and I'm like, uh-oh. You know what I mean? Not that part. You know?
Yeah. So. I know I have a son too, and that he's gone in more like fights, and that's where it comes and bites me, because I'm like, you defend yourself, like you don't let people talk down to you. And he's gotten in fights because of that, because they've talked down to him. And then I'm like, but violence isn't the answer. But you did right. Yeah,
don't let anybody touch you, but don't do that.
At the principal's office, I'm like, you did bad. And then when we leave, like, you did good, but not with violence.
Don't get caught.
Yeah. Well, we tell her too, like, you're in a box right now. The school is such like a, what would you say? It's like this.
It's just
it's systematic.
It's a system. And I'm just like, you just got to go along with it. Pretty soon you'll find your people. It'll find your path. Mm-hmm. Stay you, though. You know what I mean? Because the system can change you. Yeah, and then 100%. You conform. And then you're just like, oh, I lost that part of me. So I'm like, don't lose that creativeness. You know what I mean? Because you're going to need it when you get older.
Yes, exactly.
Do any of your kids carry that gift that you have, those special?
I think my daughter does. Okay. And it's funny because one time I took a selfie with her and I posted it up on my Figgy Beauty at that time, because I didn't have the Get Figgy with it, and Nicole was the one that was like, your daughter has a gift. And I'm like, I think so too, but for you to say it, like, that means so much more.
I know. She told us the same thing about our girl.
Yeah, and I feel like it's the artistic in them. It's the free in them that kind of just
a little weird. Too. And sometimes she says things to me, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm down with that.
When she was younger, she would kind of be like, I see this person, or I see this, and I'm just like, is he behind me? And she's like, no, it's just a nice person. I'm like, okay. And even now she'll be like, I'm scared because I see this or I hear this, and I'm like, it's fine. Like, it doesn't mean anything. They're not here to hurt you. They're just around you. She was just like, okay. But she's also too little to be like, it's a gift you have, like, to explain that. So I'm just like, go with the flow. It's fine. Like, they're not going to hurt you.
Yeah, I kind of tell my daughter too. I'm like, because she'll say the same things and it freaks me out. She's like, Mom, I hear all these voices and these noises. And I'm like, oh shit, is she schizophrenic? Yeah. What the fuck is happening?
Exactly.
And then I'm just like, well, you were around a lot of energy today. I'm like, and then I'll teach her like, let's practice cleansing it. Let's see that white light. Let's clear us out. I was like, and let's
meditation's really good for that too.
I was like, just picture this. You know, I try to help her, and then that seems to help. But it's kind of scary.
It is,
and I think
especially because I don't see people like that. When I was little, I feel like I did, and I've always been scared of the dark. I'm gonna be 34 in a couple weeks, and I'm still terrified of the dark.
Yeah,
and it's because of that. Because when you're in the dark, I feel like you feel and see more because your senses are so much more aware. So I've always been the person to like sleep with the TV on, have a night light, have my bathroom light on or something. Because if it's dark, I am feeling and seeing stuff for sure. Yeah. So that's kind of, especially because they're so much younger. I think that's why their other senses are so strong, and they kind of hear and see stuff like that.
She's told us some like wild stuff though. Like when she was 6 or 7, we were driving in the car, and you'll have these moments where she'll just say stuff. You know what I mean? And she'll be like, "I used to be a blonde-headed girl, and I lived in a penthouse in New York. Yeah, and she goes, my furniture's blue. I have a white wall." And I'm just like driving, and I'm just like, "Don't interrupt her." And then I'll ask a question like, what year is it? Like what? And then she'll
when
be like,
did it happen?
What, Dad? What are you talking about? And boom, she's out of
like,
it.
She
and I'm just
out
like,
of it.
Man, I wanted to know.
It.
Like,
yeah, my daughter will do that too, or she has really vivid dreams.
Wow.
Kind of like I do, and then I'm like, she'll kind of say like, I was older and this happened, and I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, well, maybe it is gonna happen later on, but I don't freak her. I'm just like, oh, that's cool. Like, sounds exciting. It sounds fun. And she's like, yeah. But that's crazy about your daughter too, because maybe that's why I had really heavy like girl energy, because she's such a big personality. And you guys said you have 2 girls, but I was more like drawn to her because I feel like her energy is just very big.
Yeah,
her aura is big too.
It is. She is.
She's a big personality.
Going back to having that connection with your daughter, but for other women who feel that spirituality or feel that, like we talked about, like I feel like all women are intuitive, and we're very intuitive. But what has that taught you about like empathy and connections with people, like just all the experiences you've had?
I think since becoming like get figgy with it and doing the readings, I've become more softer. Because growing up Hispanic, firstborn, I wasn't even born here. I was born in Mexico, but being a first generation here in the U.S., your parents are very strong with you and very like, be strong, be this person, be that person. That I had
so many expectations.
Yes, I had become so guarded and so hard.
Yeah.
That I wasn't accepting a lot of help and a lot of other feelings and anything from anybody else. And getting to meet so many women, so many other people with the gifts and just being empathetic, it's taught me to be softer. It's taught me to like not be judgmental.
Love it.
Not like, just know that everybody has their own path in life.
Yeah.
And be okay with it. Like, not everybody's path is going to be the same as yours. Because growing up, I was always like, if you're not married, if you don't have kids, like, that's wrong.
Yeah.
And now with, like, everybody,
there's
like,
so many different ways to do your
like,
life.
people have separated and they have had other kids, and people become lesbians after marriages. Like, there's so many different routes you can take that, like, there's no right way.
Yeah.
So it for sure has just taught me to not be judgmental and be softer and let people be.
And I think because you talk to so many people, and probably people come to you in crisis situations or in their darkest moments. So how do you disconnect from that afterward? And then I'm sure that's taught you, like you said, everyone's going through some shit.
Yes, exactly. I actually had a reading yesterday that her pet had passed away, and she was just very distraught over it, which I understood. And it made me cry. Like, I never really cry in readings, but it got me super emotional. I was crying, like, even after I was done with the reading, I still, like, sat there for, like, 5 minutes and, like, cried it out. I think because I was feeling a lot of her emotions, a lot of her, like, sadness.
Heaviness.
That it just stuck with me. And I was sat in my room. I was just quiet for 5 minutes. I cried it out. And then I get up and I was just shake it off and, like, I talk to myself and I'm like, okay, like, I'm done with that part. Like, let it out, let it be. It's not me, it's them. And I kind of just continue with my day. But when I do heavy readings like that, I'm like a big egg cleansing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you guys have heard
Yeah,
of
I've
that.
heard
Like
of
you grab it. I leave an egg out for the day, and I have it be like room temperature, and then like I rub the egg off of me, like all the energy, and then I'll kind of get rid of the egg to get rid of any energy that's not mine.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially because I do hair and I talk to so many people. Like there's always energy that sticks to me, so I always try and do the egg cleanser. So that's like one way that I always do for sure, at least like once a week to get it off of me.
Because, like you said, you don't normally cry, and that reading affected you. Has there ever been a reading where you were like, whoa, that like even shocked me, or that really surprised me, that either you were capable of doing it or something came through where you're like, holy shit, like what the hell?
It was the one yesterday.
Yeah,
that one like really stuck out to me because I had never cried. And it was funny because we were talking about like her ancestors. Like I was telling her like she has heavy ancestors in her life. And then I was like, wait, did you have a pet that passed? She's like, yeah, just like a week ago. And I'm like, oh my God, like I've never been able to feel like a pet.
That was going to be my next question.
Wow,
Tell me more about
I had
that.
never been able to feel a pet. So that the fact that it just popped into my head, it was like a dog. And I was like, I was like, do you have a spirit animal? Or do you have like a dog that passed away? She's like, my dog just passed away last week. And I'm like, oh my God. Like that's why it kind of caught me off guard.
Because you never had picked up an animal before.
Yeah. So that for sure like has been like in my mind since I got off the call yesterday, because I felt the energy from the dog, and I felt that the energy was like trying to tell me like, you've helped me a lot. Like, and I was telling her, I'm like, the pet is happy that she is in, you know, in better places, and she thanks you for being so good to her and for just healing her. I'm like, she healed you in many ways, and you healed her in many other ways.
Yeah.
And it was just like a very...
She was not coming to talk. She was
No,
no way my dog's coming through.
Yeah,
I'm
she
here to
wasn't
talk about my
talking her
abuela.
dog.
Like,
She
what's
wasn't
happening?
talking about... She just wanted to know a general reading, and then for me to pick up on that dog energy, it was just like, it threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, whoa, I can do that?
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool and pretty... And maybe that's why I got so emotional too, because it was just like a lot of emotions from the dog and from the person reading it. Yes.
So do you think animals normally come through?
Oh my gosh, yes, 100%.
They can come through.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And I used to follow, I don't think I follow her anymore, but I used to follow a person that did just dog, like pet
Really?
readings. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
She would be able to talk, like if someone, like a dog passed away or pet passed away, you'd be able to contact her, and she would be able to contact the pet and then like tell you what the pet was feeling, why it felt that way, how they felt during this time. Like it was just insane. So I thought she was crazy at first.
Yeah.
But when I had that feeling, I was just like,
Experience?
oh my God, like it wasn't a lie.
Do animal energies hang around like
Yes.
people energies?
Yes.
So when I think I've seen my dog walking down
Yes,
the hall,
100%.
You really do.
100%,
Oh my
yes.
gosh, we
100%.
I always think I see her. I'm like, am I going crazy?
I had a little poodle that I had since 2011, and then when I got married, I gave her to my mom, and she passed away maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. And my mom will tell me like, her name was Scarlett. She's like, I think Scarlett was here. I'm like, she probably was. She's like, stop saying that. I'm like, I'm not joking. Because she's like, I swear I heard someone under the bed, because she used to sleep under the bed. And I'm like, it was probably her. She's like, I thought she used to wear a belt. She's like, I thought I heard the jingle. I'm like,
Yeah.
it was her, like 100%.
She came to say hi.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
and they always say that the pets stay with you throughout your whole life if they pass away during that time.
Wow.
So if you
We
guys
had-
hear for sure, she or her is always around you guys for sure.
We
Yeah.
had fur babies. Yeah, we had 2 boxers,
Oh, see, yeah.
and they passed away. And
It was
Oh my God.
heartbreaking.
It was
Yes.
the hardest thing we
It
ever
hurts
did.
more than people. Sorry, people, but
It does. No, it does.
They're just
I
so
think because
innocent,
people we know that we're fragile.
yeah, we know we're not here forever.
And we know that we get sick, we
Mm-hmm.
grow old, and bad things happen.
Mm-hmm.
But animals are so innocent.
100%.
They are so unconditional. Like, they just want
Unconditional love.
Yeah, they just
Mm-hmm.
want to be with you and love you. And the fact that they suffer the most, I feel like
It's horrible.
And you are never gonna. I mean, in most cases, you don't outlive your animal. Like,
No, never.
I mean, you do outlive your animal. They die before you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, that pain, I've never lost any. I mean, I've lost grandparents, and but when I lost those dogs, I didn't think it was gonna
It's like
affect
losing-
me the
Like
way
I've
it
never
did.
lost a kid, and I hope to never lose a kid, but I feel like it would be like losing
Yeah.
a child.
Yeah, like losing a child. Yeah, because when we would see people with other pets, it would just hurt. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
we're like
we're missing something.
We're missing. We don't. We're like not childless, but we're like petless. Like it would just hurt our heart. It took a long time for me to like get over it because I just felt so much guilt because we had been so busy with
Life
our
happened.
kids. And I just never felt like toward the end I spent so much time with them. But and so to hear that they come through, it's so interesting. They do. I love it.
They 100%
good.
Aw, cutie pie.
Cutie pie. Shout out to
All
dogs go to heaven.
All dogs go to heaven. Yeah.
I got a question. This is kind of like not off subject, but how does it feel to have a mentor?
If at first I thought it was weird because I was like, she's younger, not that much younger than me, but she's a little bit younger than me.
Yeah.
And I was like, girl, like I've lived life.
Right.
Like I don't need you to tell
Yeah,
me.
exactly. But once I got to know her and like doing like we would meet up. I already forgot. I think it was like one day out of a week for like 2 hours or so, and we would just kind of. She would tell me different ways of reading, different ways to read the oracles and stuff like that. After like maybe the third or fourth session, I was like, okay, like she's the real deal. Like she's not just going to be my mentor for spirituality. She also has a lot of insight in life.
And very business savvy too.
Yeah. Oh my God, very business savvy.
Do you think it's important for people?
That's my next question.
What I love most about you is that you are an entrepreneur. You are a woman business owner. You own 2 businesses. Like some people can't even get one up and going.
It's hard.
Bitch, you got
I cry
2.
every day.
You got 2. So when you're talking to other women who want to pursue those side hustles, those businesses, what advice do you have for them? Like what?
I always tell them do it.
Yeah.
And it's
Do you
funny.
think everybody needs a mentor to help guide them through these paths
or
these situations?
I think they don't need a mentor per se, but they may need like someone to vent to. Someone that has done it before and they can just vent to. Like maybe they don't even want the advice, they just want to talk.
Someone who understands what it's like to run a business.
What it is, how hard it is, how draining it is, how humbling it is. Actually, it's very humbling.
So someone like you who's worked a 9-to-5 corporate world, and then going from owning your business, because I hear a lot of entrepreneurs say the same thing. You are working 24/7.
Yes, 100%.
You get no days off, but it's still better than working for someone else.
Yes.
What's your thoughts on that?
100%. So after my divorce, I did go back to corporate America, and I'm still in corporate America, but I work from home, so it's not so like.
Yeah, you're not
bad.
all in.
Yeah. But I remember during the time of like 2020 to 2023, like those, when I was picking up, because I started the barbershop. My ex-husband, of course, dished the money out and did like the labor of it, but I did the Instagramming, how we were talking about the maps on Apple, doing everything on Google, all of that. Sometimes I would pray and be like, can I just go back to my 9-to-5 job? Because after you clock out at 5,
you're still working.
You're still working. Like, I get done working hair and I'm still like thinking of like content, buying product, what's the newest styles, on TikTok trying to figure out what's popping as far as viral to like make content. Like you're always on the go. On vacation, you don't get vacation.
Yeah.
Like you take your kids to Cancun, you take your kids to Puerto Vallarta, but you're still by the beach posting, putting answering your availability, answering emails, booking, doing whatever you can. And when you're doing a 9-to-5 job, you clock out and you get to be there. Yeah, you get to be mom, you get to be wife, you get to be daughter, you get to do whatever the heck you want. But when you have your own business, it's not the same.
Yeah.
So for sure, when I was solely just doing the business of hair, it was very humbling and hard. I would sometimes wish to go back to corporate America. Yeah. Because it was you never had a time off. And then when like running the barbershop, I had employees. So it was like, you had to hear them out. They would call because something happened. I was...
Like life issues.
Yeah, exactly. I can't come in, so I have to figure out schedules. I was also like the IT and the people like doing all the
like press 1 for IT. Yeah. Oh, that's me.
I was
press
HR.
2 for
I was everything.
That's me. 3 for payroll. That's me.
I would be at home, getting breakfast ready, and I would get a call. The Wi-Fi is down, so then I would have to like rush down to the shop and figure out why the Wi-Fi is down and figure out the register part of it. Like, so for sure, you never had time off.
What keeps you in it though?
What keeps me in it? I think my main goal is to be doing that solely, like no corporate America, because I love helping people.
Yeah.
I love the satisfaction that I get, and it may be selfish, but I get satisfaction.
Yeah.
When I do hair and you see the light in their eyes and they feel so much more prettier. They feel so much more like, badass in their new hair.
Yeah.
And when I do readings, I love the satisfaction of like them feeling that validation, them feeling that clarity from life. Especially when people cry and like all that, like, the more dramatic, the better, because it makes me feel like I'm not crazy. Like
this is real.
I hear stuff for a reason. Mm-hmm. So my number one goal is to always help. And ever since I was little, I would always tell people like, I want to be in a job where I can help people.
Yeah.
Because I love doing things for other people. Like, I'm very not about myself.
I feel like most empaths are like that.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
They like to help. I feel like I'm an empath, and I resonate. I love to help people.
Yes,
I'm like,
it just...
let me help you.
It warms my heart, and it gives me, like, energy for life again. It gives me... I guess I'm passionate about it. Like, I just love being able to have an interaction with someone and know that I've made a little change in their life.
An impact on their life.
Impact on their life.
Yeah, doing hair, I'm sure men understand this going to the barber, because I've seen men walk in and look like a damn wildebeest and they come out, and I'm like,
that?
Oh my God, sir. Like,
can I get that number?
So I'm sure men feel that on some level, but I think women, it's so empowering. Our hair is like everything to us. Like,
and not just
it's
that,
our identity.
I get a lot of people that's like, I just went through a divorce. I want to change my look. I want to chop off my hair. And I'm a big, firm believer in hair holds energy. Hair holds memories. Hair holds trauma. Hair holds everything. So when women come in after like a toxic relationship, toxic marriage, and they're like, I want to cut it off. I'm like, good. You need to cut it off.
Yeah.
Like, you need to get rid of all that memory, all that toxicity. And I love the before and after type of thing. When they come in, they're like they feel defeated, they don't feel good, and then cutting it off, styling it, coloring it, whatever it is, they just feel and look brighter and glow different.
Yeah.
And maybe they don't see it, but like I see the difference, and it's like so satisfying to see that, and to hear them later on be like, I've gotten so many compliments, or I've heard so many good things, like, thank you, like, that is like warms my heart.
Yeah, that you're doing what your life's purpose.
Exactly, my life's purpose.
And I love that you found that through doing hair.
Yes.
Because people can be like a nurse, a psychologist, like those jobs where you really are making impacts. But for someone to do hair, like, I really like, you're a double package, because most people, when they go get their hair done, most women, it's like a therapy session,
100%
and these people are not licensed or trained.
No.
But then you have someone like you who has this great gift on top of another great gift. Like, that's like, I'm in heaven.
And when I graduated early high school. I graduated as a junior. I had submitted an application for ASU to go to school to be a therapist.
Yeah.
And I think I submitted my application so late that I got like a late approval letter or whatever, or acceptance letter. And when I got that acceptance letter, I was already in beauty school.
Okay.
So I was like, I'll just stay in beauty school. But from the get-go, I was always like, I want to be in beauty school because I want to make an impact in people's lives. Not because I like doing hair. Like, of course I enjoy it, but my purpose was to make an impact on that woman's life, that man's life, whoever sat in my chair.
Yes, I love it. Have you ever had a situation where things didn't go the way you thought it was going to go with someone's hair?
Yes.
How do you handle that? Like, what happens?
First of all, I'm like, this service is free. You don't have to pay me
like,
nothing.
Bitch, it better be.
Don't pay me nothing, please. But I think the most it's been like when they want vivid colors, when they want like the purples, the pinks. That's when it's a little bit harder, because you need to strip the hair from all the dark color and make it as white as possible. So I remember doing it one time and it didn't get as white. It was like an orange, and I was like, F it, I'm just gonna like slap the green on there and see if it stays. And of course it didn't. It was like murky blue green. It was not even a pretty color. It was just like dingy color, brown green. And I was just like, I washed the hair out, and it was already late. It was like 8 p.m. at night, and I was just like, I'm exhausted. Like, if it was early in the day, I would have been like, let's wash, let's do it again, blah blah blah. But it was like 8 p.m. and I was like, I'm tired, I'm sorry. Like, I thought it was gonna be better. It's free, and you can come back, and I'll do it for free again,
I'll fix
as long
it.
as my name, my brand doesn't look crappy.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to look good and feel good how you want it, like the inspo pic, whatever it is.
And how did that person like respond? Were they like, are people mad like, no, fuck this? Or are they like,
I've
what?
never
I get
had
it.
anybody get upset. They've always been like understanding about it, and they'll come back and get it fixed.
Oh, good. I love
and
that.
then if I can't get to the happy picture that they want, I'll be like, I'm sorry, I can't get to that goal. But maybe taking, more sessions will get there. If not, I have friends that are in the business. I'll refer you to them. I'll give them the heads up, and they'll be able to take care of you. Like, I'm not too proud to be like, I ain't that great.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I can't get it done, and I know people that will get it done.
Yeah.
Let me get you to them.
Do you think it's important? I've always been a big believer in like being loyal to your hairstylist, like, because they know you, they know how your personality is, they know how you wear your hair.
Exactly.
How do you feel about like one and dones, like people who just come in to see you and then you never see them again? Or does that happen?
It happens a lot. I think it's just because you don't vibe with them.
Got it.
100%. Like, if they don't come back, I don't take it personal. I'm like, I wasn't the vibe for them. I wasn't the correct personality for them, and I just let it be. I used to take it when I first started. I did take it personal because I'm like, but I did so good.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Yeah,
you look way better.
Growing up and like just going through life, I'm like, they have their own path in life. They have their own personality, their own perspective, and I didn't match their vibe.
Maybe we were just supposed to meet for that one time.
Exactly. I'm like, I made the impact that I needed in their life. They made the impact that I needed, and I just let it be. I try not to hold on to a lot of things anymore.
Good.
Because I used to be very much of a grudge holder.
I want to be like that.
Please.
As much as I say it, but then I don't.
Action is different.
And then I'm like, fuck, I fucking did it again. And then
but at least you're self-aware about it.
Yeah, that's what my husband said. He's like, you're self-aware.
Yeah.
You have there'll be another opportunity. And I'm like, well, when am I gonna fucking get it?
But when am I gonna get over it?
When am I gonna get it? Because I'm still just. I think I'm a very nice, kind-hearted person. I love to help people, and I will go above and beyond. But then I have this side to me too, where
we all do.
Yeah, where I'm just like a human being, and I'm a little fucking bitch, and I'm like can be so mean, and then I'm like, why did I do that? Like, that is so not me. But we're triggered, right?
And I think it's more that we grow up and life makes us hard. Like I said, like, experiences, heartbreaks, death, they'll make us harder. So then we become a harder person that becomes grudge holders, resentment towards other people. So it's not even that we want to be that way. It's just
that's just
life.
I just told my husband today, I said, I'm behaving this way because of this. I was like, and I don't know how to fix that because I've just now learned that as I'm 40 that's what's happening.
But that's like such a good quality to have, that you're self-aware, that you know where it's coming from, so that way you can explain to him.
I'm like, I love you, but I'm acting this way because this happened. And he's like, well, how do we fix that? I'm like, dude, I just figured it out. That this is why I'm
Let's
this
talk
way.
it through.
I'm like, no, she goes, I don't know. And I go, well, I'll keep researching and see how we can fix it. And she goes, and as will I. And then I'll
keep reading these self-help books.
I was about to walk away, and I'm like, share your intel.
Let me know.
I'm like, dude, as you get older, you learn things about yourself.
100%.
You think you're just a little bitch. Like, I just think but then I'm like, no, I'm not really a little bitch. I'm hurt.
Yes.
I've
learned to distinguish your emotions.
I've learned through therapy that I feel rejected. Oh my gosh,
therapy, 100%.
I love therapy. And so that's what I'm today. I'm like, I'm behaving this way because I'm in my masculine energy. And I'm in my masculine energy because X, Y, and Z happened. And I don't know how to get out of it. And so this is why where we are, who we are today.
I used to fight that a lot with you, but then I started to realize, like, if she was a CEO of a company, this would be expected. Like, that she would be perfect role for that. So I was
those traits would be great.
And I'm just like, she's gonna be a businesswoman, and she's gonna be a force to be reckoned with. So I was like, I can't burn out her fire.
Exactly.
So I just gotta run with it. You know what I mean? So I just, I don't say eggshells, but I just kind of like I dodge.
You dodge.
Right. And everybody in my family is like that. They know, like, my sister Jay is like, oh, watch out, guys. Here comes the approach. She's going to come down here. Like, y'all better get your shit together. Like, because she's going to come down. But, so, yeah, we digress. But, yeah, I love that. And what I wanted to ask you before we get too far away from it was, you mentioned about, like, running that business 24/7, trying to stay up on trends. What is a trend right now that women are doing with their hair, or even men, if you're that is like, please stop. Everyone stop doing this.
Sorry, Beanie. That's to my son. The boys that are doing their perms.
Yeah.
With the mop head.
Their
hair is just like...
Yeah. I don't like that
eyes.
either.
I
That
don't
needs
like
to stop.
it.
That's how my hair naturally looks.
Well,
but that's your natural.
Yeah, if it's natural, great. My
People
son...
ask me if it's a perm. I'm like, it's my natural hair.
My son is 12 and he just started like a year ago asking for perms, and he let his hair grow. He does that little Rico Suave, curls in their face, and it drives me crazy because it's just like, I can't see your beautiful eyes anymore. But I do it because he loves it, and my parents were so good at like letting us express our ways and the way we dress and hair, so I'm like, let it be, but I don't like it. So guys, teenagers, cut it out.
What is like one product that you think every woman needs to have?
Any kind of oil.
Ooh.
Any, like, I love Olaplex, which is what a lot of people use. Olaplex.
See, I don't like oil because I like my hair big and fluffy, and for some reason I feel like when I put oil in it, it's oil. Like, it brings it down. So I stay away from oil, but I see women put it in their hair and their hair's still like
it.
Voluptuous.
If you do it correctly, it should always help. What I always recommend, because your hair is pretty wavy without any product, right? Like, it's little curls. I would say wash your hair, like on your wash day, wash your hair. When it's wet, put the oil in there, whether it be Olaplex, K18, Moroccan oil, whatever it is you use. But don't put it on your roots. Just put it at the mids to ends. Okay. And then just let it be. And then when it dries out, put a little bit more towards just the ends. Not even the mids, just the ends. And it helps with the frizz. Okay. It helps with like the actual curling, not just like whatever it does. And then, do you wash your hair every day or not? No. Okay, so like every other day maybe, do a little bit of oil on the ends only.
What's your thoughts on hair washing every day?
I don't do it. Okay. Don't do it.
What's the longest you recommend going without washing your hair?
I say once a week.
Okay.
Oh, you do that.
I do every once Thursday. A week.
Yeah, exactly. See, pick a day.
And like this day's like 5 days old, but people compliment me all the time. Yeah, they're
it's funny because I'll get the most compliments when it's the dirtiest. Yeah. And I'm like, I haven't washed my hair.
I'm like, this hair is like fucking almost 2 weeks old. Yeah. Sometimes it can get to 2 weeks.
Sometimes I get ice. Depending on like how busy I am in the events I have going on, like I'll drag it out to 2 weeks. Yeah. And my son will be like, "You're so gross."
Do you think that damages your hair?
No.
I'm so scared. Like in my getting older, I always ask my hair girl,
you get older,
am I losing my hair? Is my hair thinning? And she's like, "Girl, you have the most hair."
You do have a lot of hair.
I'm like, I feel like it's getting like it. I feel like I can.
And it looks really healthy for your hair being like light as it is.
Thank you. I know. I need to cool down on it because I feel like I'm frying these little bangs.
No, it looks so good.
But I like my hair light in the front because I feel like it brightens up my face.
I have like the money pieces too in the front, and the back is dark because it's the same. I feel like it just brightens you up.
So my sister, my mom judge me so much because I don't wash my hair every day. They wash their hair every day.
My sister does too. I always tell her, I'm like, you need to gradually like make it longer. So like for the first week, do it every 2 days. After that, make it 3 days. After that, 4 days. Like until you can go 7 days. And if you can't, stretch out to like 4 or 5 days the most. Yeah. But don't wash it every day. It dries out your hair so much.
Like, what's a hair myth that like people need to know?
I don't know if it's a hair myth, but people think that if they don't cut their hair, it's gonna grow.
Yeah.
No.
I used to believe that. I used to believe you have to cut it, right? Because your hair grows from the end.
It grows from the ends. So when it's growing, if you don't cut it, the ends literally split. Like if you look at your hair, you'll see one hair strand and 2 ends. Yeah. So that means you have split ends. And it doesn't grow. It's just going to keep breaking off and splitting into 2. Mm. It grows, but it's going to grow thin because it's splitting. Mm-hmm. It's not its full potential of 1 hair strand. Okay. So ideally, you should get a haircut every 6 weeks. Mm. But I am nice. I always tell my clients come in every 3 months because I understand you don't want to cut your hair so often. But for sure, if you don't cut your hair, it will grow, but it won't grow to its potential. Yeah. It won't be full and luscious. It's just going to be like a little strand at the end. Like the little V that you see most girls have. Yeah. So that myth I hate. I'm like, cut your hair.
Cut your hair. Yes. What's your ideal client for hair?
Someone that comes in and says, do whatever you want.
Oh my God, that's me. I'm like, bitch, I don't know. You're the professional. Like my hair girl. Like
I love it when they have inspo pics because I know what they want. But it's fun when they're like, do whatever you want because it lets my creativity flow.
Yeah. I always say the same thing. She's like, what are we doing today? I'm like, I don't know. You tell me. Like, what do I need? And she's like, well, you definitely need to cut.
Yes, exactly.
We need to do this. We need to do that. And are you like a yes man? Or are you honest?
Oh,
like,
I'm
if people
honest.
come in like, I want to look like this, are you like, bitch, no.
I'm
There's no
honest.
way. You can't.
A lot of people come in. My sister, she comes in. She's like, I want the Kim Kardashian white blonde. And I'm like, bitch, you have black hair. Where
You're like, you know that's a wig? That ain't even her hair. She's wearing a wig.
So, for sure, it's hard when they come in asking for that because, first of all, they're Kim Kardashian. They spend about 10 grand to do that.
Dang.
And they...
You can't even maintain... Can you even maintain that, actually? Like,
no.
what's that cost
And
to maintain
they have
it?
a traveling stylist. So, like... If you need a tone, you know, like that gray hair that tones out, like once you wash it, it's not gray anymore. They have a stylist that can tone it the next day.
Yeah.
So it's impossible for me to make you leave my salon or my chair with gray hair and you have it in 2 months when you come back for your retouch. Because it's going to fade out. The water here sucks.
Yeah.
Unless you have a filtered shower head. That's the only way it'll maintain a little bit longer. But there's so many different things out there. The sun bleaches your hair like naturally. The water, like I said, shampoos, if you're not using the correct shampoos, if you're not putting the correct product like oils and high-end products, it'll damage your hair. So it's like so hard for me to do what you want me to do. So I'll be honest. I'll be like, I can take you to that blonde, but it's not going to be today.
Yeah.
Like maybe in 5 sessions. And even then, you have to come to me like at least once a month for it to maintain that. That blondness, that grayish. And my sister's good about that. She does come to me once a month and we do her retouch and all that. But I'm honest and sometimes too honest. And Nicole will also say it with the readings. I'm very upfront. Like when they tell me like, is my man cheating? Should I leave my man? I'm like, yes. I'm not like, well, you should think of. No, I'm like, yes, you should leave him.
What's that responsibility like? Like,
I feel so bad.
Even when my sister comes to me for advice, I'm like, I can't tell her to leave her man. Like, she's got kids with him. Like, I don't want to be responsible for breaking. I don't want to validate her for break. Even though he's a piece of shit. Like, I'm sorry. Even though she should. Like, you know what I mean? So, what's that responsibility like?
I feel to really
tell
bad.
someone to change their whole life.
I always feel bad. I'm always like a friend. I'm like, yes, you should leave, but it's up to you when you want to do it.
You have will, like free will.
Exactly. It's up to you if you take my advice and if you believe what I'm saying. Like, you do as you please. But in my perspective, my point of view, what I see, yes, that person's not good for you.
Do you think most people come to you, like, because I feel like when I come to you and Nicole, I already know. I just need you to validate that for me. Is that most people? Or they come in there and they're like, I had no idea you were going to say that. Like, that is 100%. News to me. Everybody knows you're just there to validate, like, dude, you're right. You should leave him. He is cheating. Like, you should leave that job. You should go here.
That's literally when they'll ask me, like, those questions about should I leave? And I'm like, yes. Not because I want you to leave, but because you already have a gut feeling. You already have some sort of intuition in you that's telling you it's not right. You wouldn't be having these second thoughts, these other thoughts, if there wasn't already something there.
Right.
If there wasn't a red flag, if you didn't catch a message, if you didn't see something, you wouldn't be asking me this. So 100%, yes.
Can you, so is a medium the same as a psychic?
I would say yes. I feel like a psychic does more of like the future telling.
Right.
But a medium is more of... like Nicole, she can do more of she can read past life people, like your grandparents. She'll be able to be like, your mom passed away and she wants you to know this. She's more of the medium because she's the middle person of that person that has passed away that's in the spirit world and the person that's here in earth.
Okay.
So, yes, it's a difference. Nowadays, it's kind of just all blurs together.
Okay.
We all kind of do
for someone
everything.
like you, can you talk to people who've passed? Can you look at someone's future?
I can't talk to people that have passed. I can sense them. Like I told you, like I sense the pet. I sense like grandmother energy and things like that. But I can't be like, she wants you to know this. She wants you to see this. I haven't been able to get that far. Maybe as I go along my journey, I'll be able to get that in me. But so far, I haven't really felt that. And as far as the future... certain times, yes. Certain times I've had clients where they'll ask me, do you see me doing this? Do you see me in this career? And I literally will picture them in that career.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like I will. It's like kind of when you imagine, like when you're like daydreaming.
Yeah.
Like I'll see that person like they were like, do you see me in the art creative world? And I literally see them like painting and like an art easel, and then like just going ham like Picasso type of thing.
Yeah.
So yes, I can do that with certain people.
Can you do it with celebrities? Like that are not talking to you, but can you like pick up E! News and be like, oh, Blake Lively, you're a fucking liar.
Yes,
like, 100%. This is going to turn out bad for her.
100%.
Tell me a celebrity. Give me a celebrity.
Blake Lively. Me and Nicole were just in Sedona, like, what, 2 weekends ago?
You guys were there last weekend. I was stalking you. Actually, it was last weekend. No,
yeah.
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
No, we were there and we were driving back. I was driving. She was, like, on TikTok. And that Blake Lively thing happened where, she was suing Justin Baldoni.
Yeah.
And she was just like, what a liar. I don't believe it. And I was like, oh my God, me either.
That was my first instinct too.
I was like, I don't believe it.
Yeah, when it first came out. And then I felt bad because then I was like, shit, I should be on a woman's side. We should like go down with her and be like, no, fuck this dude. But that was my first gut instinct too, was I didn't believe it. I was like, this ain't adding up. And if it don't make sense, like it might not be true. Like it just didn't.
I feel... for me, like I feel like it didn't add up just because her energy has always given me like mean girl energy.
I was just gonna say that you took the words out of my mouth.
So that's why I didn't believe it, because I was like, I think she's just trying to save face and trying to like look good for the public, because she was like horrible during that whole
production. Yeah.
And
she did that didn't go well for her.
With Justin Baldoni, I haven't really seen much of him. I've seen that Jane the Virgin. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, I know.
And he was in it. And the girl that's in it, I forgot her name.
I know the supporting actress.
Yeah,
I don't know her
name. The Jane girl on that. She's always giving me really good vibes, very honest, very empathetic vibes, and knowing that she goes really hard for Justin Baldoni, she even had him like officiate her wedding.
Yeah,
I was like, there's no way she would support a trashy man out there.
So yeah,
so that kind of backed up my feelings behind Blake. But Nicole was the same way. She's like, I don't believe it.
Me either. I didn't believe it either. I was like, nah.
And then with like because I'm a big Kardashian fan. I used to watch the Kardashian shows all the time, like with Scott Disick and Kourtney.
Yeah.
Like I was always like, they're soulmates.
Yeah.
But wrong time, wrong everything. I think they got together too young, or at least Scott was too young. If they would have met when he was like in his late 30s and she was like in her 40s, like she is now with Travis, I think it would have worked out, because they were honestly like soulmates. Like you can just feel the vibe, you can just feel the connection.
Yeah.
So with them, like I would always like play it onto that.
I love
Kanye and Kim. I was always like,
no, this ain't it. That's so interesting. So with Valentine's Day coming up next month, what's your thoughts on soulmates? Like I mean the word soulmate, but actually like, do people like have soulmates, whether it's like with the opposite sex, with a companion, with even just a child? Like, tell me more about that.
I'm a firm believer in soulmates. I believe you can have more than one soulmate. I think you can have a romantic soulmate, and then you can have a friend soulmate.
Got it.
And I don't feel like soulmate means that you're like in love with them. And
right.
I just feel like it's a deep connection that nobody will understand. And by soulmate, like, I've been married, I'm currently dating, and I've had like both aspects of life, and soulmates are very true.
Okay.
Like with my ex-husband, like I loved him, we had kids together, but I didn't feel like it was soulmate material.
How do you know you're with your soulmate?
You just connect, like everything just intertwines correctly. They accept you for you. They don't judge you. There's like no negativity. Of course you're gonna have arguments, but it's just like when you argue, it's not even arguing. It's just like
a conversation,
a discussion. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think you just feel it in your heart. You feel that connection. You feel that string. I don't know if you heard like that. I don't know if it's called
the invisible string.
Yes.
Yeah.
We kind of were talking about your guys' relationship, how you guys were friends first. And I'm sure you dated while you guys were friends. Like, you dated other people while you guys were friends. But at the same time, you guys were still, like, pulled at each other.
Yeah.
That's soulmate connection. That's that string material.
We're soulmates.
We're so meant to be.
If anything, we were meant to be together for our kids. Because, I mean, how else would those cool people exist?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think the soulmate, like, there will be times where I'll, like, you know what? We haven't ate this sushi place in a while. And she's like, oh my God, I was thinking that.
Yes,
that's
what I
we
mean.
always talk like, did she feed me or did I come up with it?
Yeah, what is that?
We do that like once a week.
How do you determine that? Because we do it all the time. And I'm like, were you picking up on me or was I picking up on you?
I think, especially with you guys, because you guys have been together for so long, you guys have you guys have your energy so meshed that you guys do pick up on each other's like thinking and energy. So that's why sometimes you'll be like, I want sushi, and she's like, I just wanted sushi too. So that's where it comes into play. But also I do feel like you guys are soulmates. So that connection is just so deep that you guys have a lot in common. You guys have a lot of history together that it just happens naturally for you guys.
What's your thought on past lives? Like, can people have known each other in their past life and came back around?
Yes.
And how do you know you're in your last life?
That's what I've always wondered. I'm not a big past life person. Like, I don't know how to read it. Melissa, I believe that's her name.
Yeah, you had a reading with Melissa.
I did.
Okay, but there's another Melissa now in Nicole's group, and like Nicole's brand. She does past life readings, and she's always like, she's just good about like the way she determines that. I believe we have had many lives. If you look at your astrology chart and all that, like it'll show you like how many lives you've had, what life this is, how many more lives you have to go. So 100% believe it. Deja vu
what's up with
is
that?
a big thing because of your past life and the different universes that we have. So the deja vu, I always feel like it's, if you feel it a lot, it's because you're in the right place at the right time. Like sometime in your past life you did this before and now you're redoing it and it's meant to be for you. So whenever deja vu happens for me, I'm like, I thank God, I thank the universe. I'm like, thank you everybody. I'm at the right spot, the right place where I'm supposed to be.
What's your thoughts on like angel numbers?
Oh,
like, are those real?
Yes.
We see 444, 1111 on a regular. Daily.
Do any of you have like relatives that have passed that were close to you guys that have passed that you talk to sometimes or like bring up?
My grandma just passed, but we weren't super close.
Okay.
But
I mean, yeah.
You do?
I do.
Yeah.
We do. I talk
You
to...
legit talk to your grandma in your dreams.
Oh, no, not... I mean, I had to cut that bitch off. I love you, grandma.
Like boundaries.
But she was coming to me in those vivid dreams
where they would freak you out.
So much so that I would be sobbing in my dream and wake up and feel... You know how you feel when you're crying?
Yes.
I was
feel
not...
that emotion.
And so I was like, what? No. And I talked to my mother-in-law, who also is very intuitive, and she, was like, you need to just tell her not to come anymore. And so I did. So I don't talk to her anymore, but I will talk to, people who are not here, who should have been here with me. And I will, like, on every single day.
Because I believe angel numbers, because if you look it up on Google or whatever, it'll tell you, like, 1111 means prosperity. You're going to get money, blah, blah.
Portal.
Yeah, exactly. For me, angel numbers, I see it as a way that the spirit world communicates with us. I say that because I have a dear friend that passed away maybe about almost 10 years ago. And that's who I always talk to when I'm like in crisis or in need. I'm like, if I'm doing this correctly, like show me a sign, show me. And my angel number is 1111. Like that's the number I always see. And I'll be like, show me 1111. In 2 days if I am doing this correctly. Like I make it very precise.
I've never done that. It just like we notice it so much that my kids will be like, it's 444, and then we're like, oh, thank you angels for being with us, thank you babies for being with us.
And it could be like I said, it could be ancestors, angels, anything, just somebody trying to let you know that you're in the right path.
But
like,
I'll just be driving
and you notice it, right?
I notice it and then I'm like, okay, I guess I'm supposed to be going to Starbucks right now.
Yay! So, because I was like that too at first. I was like 11:11. That means I'm doing the right thing. I'm at the Starbucks because I needed it, like you said. Yeah. But I started putting it in that way of like talking to my past, my spiritual world, and being like, if I'm in the right spot, if like I'm dating right now, I was like, if I'm in the right relationship, show me 11:11. Show me a song that will remind me of you. And sure enough, I think it was like a week later, he used to be obsessed with that Gym Class Heroes movie song, that da 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 da.
Oh yeah.
That it started It's an old song. It's from like 2008,
Right.
2009.
Yeah.
It came on the radio.
Yeah, I haven't heard that song in years.
Exactly. I was like, what are the odds? And right instantly when I heard that, I thought of my friend and I thought of what I had asked. And I was like, okay, like, I'm in the right relationship.
Yeah.
So use it like that.
Okay.
Also with manifesting, like I'm a big manifester.
Okay, I was gonna ask you about that.
Always try and do like be specific about your manifestations. Don't just be like, I want to be a superstar. Be like, I want to be the number one superstar, have this many records sold. I want to have this many followers. Like, be very specific and write it down.
Okay.
Don't journal it or whatever, but you can just put it on your notes app or like on the fridge or whatever, but like be very specific on what you want to manifest, because then you will speak it into existence.
Yeah.
And I kind of repeat it once a day. I'll have it in my notes and I'll go to my notes and like read my manifestations and just be very specific about it. Okay. Even like to the day, like I want to be this in 5 years. I want to have another kid in 2 years and I want it to be a boy. Like just very intentional about your manifestations.
I love that. I love manifesting. I am like, so I love astrology. I love dream decoding. Like I could spend all day with that. I like that
you
stuff.
said like, hold up. Cause like I would like to talk to my Theo Johnny and not like physically.
Yeah.
He's passed.
Yeah.
But we never really had a strong connection. I mean, well, we never like really like, I was so young, you know what I mean? And he passed and we never really got to
that part of life.
I feel like something was there.
Yeah.
And my mom used to always say like he would call you his twin. And I was like, I never knew that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like he felt the connection with you as well.
Connection.
Can you have connections with people who've passed now that they're passed and not have had those in your real life with them?
I think so. I think like how you say your grandma had passed away, but you were
recently, yeah.
Yeah, that you're not that super close to her.
Yeah.
But even though you didn't feel the closeness, they still felt it. And maybe even I believe that when you pass away, you kind of get a flashback of your life, kind of like a movie preview of like the bad things and the good things you did in life. And maybe when she passed, she was like, dang, like I didn't connect that much with him. Like I missed out on that. So then when they pass, since they're free spirits, they try to connect more with you in that sense.
I love that.
So even though you feel like you weren't that close, you can still talk to her and be like, you know, like
you can still have a relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a closeness
exactly. You can still be like, Grandma, I know we didn't talk as much, but if you're listening to me, like help me out with this, or how's it going? Or sometimes, like I said, I'll tell them like play a song that will remind me of you, and then like later on it'll play and then it'll instantly trigger you to that moment that you asked for that.
I see.
And you'll be like, oh my God, this reminds me of my grandma. Like, oh my God, I asked her to play a song, and then it kind of like little domino effect. It kind of like clicks all together.
So if you want to see something, you will.
Exactly.
And what do you think about like animals showing up, like hummingbirds? Like we see hummingbirds a lot. Yes. You know what I mean? Like
you do
all the time. Yeah, I do a lot, and my girls do.
I believe in that, but for it to mean something,
do you have to put significance?
Exactly.
To it?
I was gonna say, for it to mean something to you, you kind of have to be like, oh my God, my grandma said she loves hummingbirds. Oh, yeah. It's a hummingbird. Like, it's my grandma. Yeah. Or my grandma told me she was going to come back as a hummingbird. I don't know if you've seen Moana.
Yeah.
But you know how the grandma's like...
Stingray.
Yeah, when I come back, I'm going to be a stingray. And then, like, later on, there's a stingray.
I have no connection to hummingbirds other than I see them a lot. And I, on my own, have said, that's my angels. Those are my ancestors on the other side. And every time I put
but that's because you feel that intuition. You feel that feeling. So that's true. That it can be your ancestors, they can be your angels, it can be someone that's passed away that wants to be near you or is trying to send you a sign. That's another way that I communicate with my friend. I'll be like, if I need to do this, show me a blue bird. Like, I'll make it as weird as possible. Like, a bird that you've never seen, you know, very like unique, a blue bird with a red beak, like something weird.
Really?
And then it won't be in real life, but even when I'm on Instagram,
when it happens, are you like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, do you still kind of like?
Because I said one time, I was like, show me a red bird, and I've never seen a red bird here, so I was just like, I made it weird, and I was on Instagram, and a red bird popped. It was like a geographic thing, and it was a red bird. I was like, oh my God, this is a sign.
Yeah, I do that too. Like, if I'm struggling because I'm anxious or stressed, and I'll be on the road, I'm just like, man, and then I'll look and there'll be a damn hummingbird even just painted on the side of the building. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be okay. I'm not dying today.
But that's because you have that significance to it. Like, it brings peace to you. It brings like, it makes you feel good, and it brings like ancestors to you. So it calms you down. So it's a good thing. Yeah.
I love that.
Everybody was telling me when my grandma was passing, they're like, come see her before she passes. I think she's waiting for you. And we weren't close. You know, like
you're
that.
You're like, wait.
And I'm like, okay. You know, so I go over there and I see her and my mom's like, you know, she's very like, I'm sorry I wasn't here. She's kind of like
very
that.
guilty.
Very guilty. Like, and everybody's kind of like, sorry we didn't do it. I don't bring that energy. I'm like, you need to go. Like, go.
Let it go.
Let it go. Go see your other. What else is waiting?
Yeah.
Go over there. And my mom's looking at me.
You're so
and
mean.
Then she didn't say that, but she was just like patting me on the back, and then she kind of cried. I actually got tearful too, which I didn't think I was gonna get.
Yeah.
And then I started making jokes with her, and I said, "You know what, Mom? She gave me $100 for me to go to prom senior year.
Oh my gosh.
I should bring that 100 back, and she'll leave. I guarantee you." And then they all died laughing, everybody. And then she cried. And then she died that night. Yeah.
Really? I didn't know she cried.
Yeah, she teared up.
Oh, Mama Connie.
She ain't tear
R.I.P.
up.
R.I.p.
So now maybe whenever you see 100 or like random, it kind of be like, oh, that's my grandma.
I owe you $100.
Yeah, like give it back to me.
Yeah. And my mom, she called me the next day and she's like, oh my God. She's like, I realize now your humor when you come, no matter how, not disrespectful, but she said, you're just like a matter of fact. Like you say things right out, like no filter. And sometimes it makes me upset. Yes. And it's funny though. And it kind of hurts my feelings, but that's you. And you came through for her that time. Exactly. You know what I mean?
She needed permission to let go.
Yeah,
right?
she did.
You gave it to her.
But also like, I'm not that energy. I'm not that like, Grandma, no. You know, I'm more like, peace. Like you need to.
I know. We're bad because I'm a hospice nurse. Oh my God. I see
you
death
see that a lot
every day, and I'm like, yeah, you're 90. It's time to go, bro.
But it's
like,
true.
Why are we holding on to
They
this?
do need that validation. The same way, like when people come for readings and they need validation of whatever's going on in their life. People that are passing away need that validation because, like you said, your grandma felt guilty. She felt remorseful for things that she didn't do. Or
so people need permission to let go. That's real.
It's real, 100%. And I think maybe about 80% of the stories I've heard of people passing, they've all said like, I had to tell them to let go. I've told them it's okay. I'll be fine. Like, go, and they pass away.
Yeah.
Like,
I tell my families that I'm
after.
like, give them permission to let go.
Yes.
Tell them you're going to step out of the room.
Yes.
Because I feel like sometimes a lot of people don't want to die in front of you.
It's like really personable. I feel like it's.
I don't even like people looking at me when I'm sick. Like,
when I'm sleeping, like
what the hell? Like.
You know what? Now that I think of it, that we're having this conversation. Sorry,
you're
not
fine.
about me. It's not about me.
It's all about you.
Not about me.
This is not your session.
When I was leaving the home where she was in, the hospice house, I was trapped. I'm trapped.
You got lost. You got kind of locked in.
You get locked in, like
because they have to buzz you out.
So I'm like, ma'am, hello, hello, is anybody there? Hello. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, that's my nana. She's probably like, hello, like lost. You know what I mean?
Aww.
And then I heard of that lady's voice, and she was talking to another lady, and I'm like, that must be her. And I walk over there, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I need to be let out. And she's like, okay. And then she let me out, and then I walked out, and then went on for my day. But now it's starting to make sense.
We really
clicked together.
He kept saying, "Oh, my mom says that my nana's waiting for me." I'm like, no, you guys weren't that close.
Yeah, like why would she be waiting for you?
But then, sure enough, he was the last one to visit her. He gave her that permission, and she died that night. I was like, oh shit! Like
she was waiting.
I'm never wrong about that. Like she needed to hear that.
And the fact that you said that you guys weren't close, and she even brought you up. It was for sure a sign because she knew that you're straightforward. She knew that energy you were going to bring to her. She knew you were going to give her that permission to move on and like be okay with it.
Yeah. Like I told Nicole, I was like, I feel like my grandma was mad at me when she died. And she's like, yeah, but you're the only one who could have handled that. Yeah. Like she did give you some attitude, but that was her. She needed to get it off, and she knew
you were going to take it personal.
Yeah. And I was like, but I did take it personal. Like I was really upset. Like because she said she like woke up for everybody, even my husband.
And not for you?
Not for me. She would not. And he doesn't speak Spanish.
I don't speak Spanish, and
he's like
she like called me in, and she said some stuff, and I'm just like,
yeah, ¿qué?
I go, okay. hey. And then they're like, what'd she say? I'm like,
No
huh?
sé.
Oh, no.
He's like, she said something about you and the girls.
I heard your name. I heard the girl's name.
Definitely about the girls, but I just
And then so I like rushed over there. I'm like, I'm here. Nothing. I was like, this lady. Well, then after I left, like we call it like in hospice, we call it the last hurrah because people will be dying on your deathbed, not responding, barely breathing, and then all of a sudden they get this burst of energy.
Oh, I've heard that, yeah.
And it lasts for maybe a day or two, even a couple hours, and then they're gone. This bitch had her last like hurrah, sat up in bed, which that creeps me out. Like when I see people have their last hurrah, it is like watching a dead person walking
like
around. Yeah, it's so creepy to me because I'm like, dude, you were just knocking on death's door and now you're sitting up talking, laughing,
Very weird.
holding a baby.
Yeah.
Like that's what my grandma was doing. My uncle did the same thing. I mean, I see my patients do all the time, and families are like, oh, see,
She's gonna be
were
great.
wrong. I'm like,
just you wait.
I'm like, sorry, this is what we call the last hurrah.
Yeah.
This like enjoy it, but they're on their way out. So that always kind of freaks me out.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I've heard of that tue. And I mean, I'm a Grey's Anatomy addict, so I swear I'm a doctor because I watch Grey's Anatomy.
right.
But I've seen it on the show. It has to be true on the show, right? But no, I've had other clients and like friends and family tell me the same thing, like the last hurrah and like the whole letting go. Like it's all very much true. We as people take it hard, so we try to like ignore those signs. So we always try to find like the silver lining in things, and we're like, no, she doesn't need to tell me. Let her know to let go, or they are gonna be fine. Like, no, we just need to be more realistic about things, and that's just a part of life that we don't want to ever deal with. And
because of your gifts as a medium, do you feel differently about death?
Yes.
Tell me.
At first, I used to be terrified of death. I used to be like, I don't want to die. I don't want my parents to die. I don't want nobody to die. But then, like going on this journey, it's made me feel more comfortable with death. Because I don't feel like we actually die.
Right.
I feel like, yes, my body will no longer be walking on earth, but my spirit will always be around you guys. Will always be around my kids. Will always be around my mom. My mom will always be around me, like vice versa. Like, I don't think we ever die. I think we spirit world, and then we reincarnate into another life, into another era. Growing up, I was always like, I was meant to be in the 60s. I was meant to be in the 50s. Like, that's my vibe, the hippie vibe and all that. Yeah. And I had a past life reading that maybe like a year ago or so. And they told me that. They were like,
God, I want a past life reading now.
You were like she's like, you were a man in your, like in the 50s, 60s. And I was like, oh my God, that's so weird. Because when I was younger, I was like, why couldn't I be born in the 60s? Why couldn't I be born in the 50s? Yeah. So 100% I believe in reincarnation. I believe, like I said, we die, our spirit roams the world until we find another way to come into the earth planet again.
I love it.
So yeah.
Do you think can kids be read?
Yeah.
Are they good candidates for being
I feel
read?
like they can be. My kids always want me to read them, and I'm like,
Can you read
tell
people
them it's bad
close to
juju.
you?
It says do your homework. That's what they say.
It says
It says it's
clean your room.
time for go to sleep.
Can you read people close to you?
I can.
And how do you decipher, like, this is me talking to you as a sister, or this is me talking
That's
to you
where I
from
have the
spirit?
hard time. I have the hard time with my sisters because I'm not always very upfront with, like, I don't say what she needs to hear. I say what she wants to hear because I don't want to hurt her feelings. I don't want to make her feel bad. But I do have a hard time reading friends and family because sometimes what I hear and see is not that nice. And I try to be nicer to my family and friends. So I'm not very upfront with them. So it's hard for me. As far as my kids, I could read them, but I feel like it's hard because they're so innocent and they don't have such trauma yet. And
She said yet.
yeah, exactly. That it's hard for me to be like, feel their vibe.
Got it.
I can read their energy. Like I said, I'm an empath, so if they're having a bad day, I can they're your kids too, so right off the bat you can tell when they're having a bad day.
Yeah.
But
you know when something's off.
exactly, I can read that part of the energy. Like I can be like, you're something's going wrong because this happened. They'll be like, yes, and I'm like, okay, I can read that much, but I won't go as deep as like you're gonna be broken up with, you're going to have a friendship breakup, like nothing like that.
What's the like biggest thing, like common theme that people come to you for?
Relationship.
Yeah.
Should I leave my husband? Should I leave my significant other? And every time they ask me, I get a gut feeling. I'm always like, yes, no. If I say yes, it's not to be mean. it's because you're coming to me for a reason. Like I said, like
you're already feeling something.
You already feel the distance, the grown apart things. Like you've already felt that, and you just want that validation of like, you're right, I am feeling that.
Yeah.
But it's like 50-50. I've never been that mean to just be like, yes, leave him now. If I feel no in my gut, I'll be like, no, don't leave him. Work through it, talk through it. Then if it still like doesn't work out for you, then yeah,
that's you putting it nicely.
Exactly.
I got a question. Can anyone be a medium?
I think so.
Everybody
we all
has
have the capability.
Gift,
I think we all have like that bruja in us, that intuition in us that we can do that. We just have to be dedicated enough to decipher it and figure out what's your feelings and what the other person's feeling is. And with that, I mean like life happens, intuition, that gut feeling, being able to decipher if you're anxious or the other person's anxious, like having that medium of like, I can decipher that it's me or you. But yes, 100%. You just have to be dedicated enough and understanding enough to know what's what.
Because I feel it in the music studio. Like I can't read people, but when I'm in there,
you feel the energy.
It's unbearable, and I almost have to like settle myself down because I'm like almost like getting taller. You know what I mean? And when I talk to people, I gotta be very mindful
of that
because I want you to do this. I want it now, but I'm just like how about like I have to settle my nerves.
There's a way to say it.
But I'm saying like you can sing, I can't.
Yeah.
And I want you to do this, and we're gonna be great. You know what I
Together.
mean? But just, we need to get there, and if I gotta walk you there, I'm gonna do it. So.
And it's kind of like what we were saying about the kids, because they're so artistic and so creative. Like they already have that in them, and it's not that they're weak. It's just that they're more
like, their veil is so thin.
Yes, exactly. That they see that stuff, and it kind of with you, what you're saying, like with the music industry and like. That you're in a creative field, so I wouldn't put it past you that you have that empath in you, that mediumship in you that you can kind of
tap into
here and there, especially when you're in your passionate era where you're in music or doing the studio or the audio engineering, whatever it is. You feel so confident in that you're able to decipher your feelings, and I think that's kind of like what I mean when I say to decipher. It's a being just secure in who you are. And what you're feeling and knowing your body and yourself so well that you can decipher what's yours and what's not.
Right.
I love that.
And that's taken so many years for me to like decipher.
That practice.
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, you were feeling it since you were a kid.
Oh my God, yes.
That must have been so scary.
It was very scary.
Well, you saying Nicole was younger than you when she tells you kind of stuff. Like I had a younger person come to me and I was telling them about a song I had wrote. And I'm like, hey, it's not that good. And she's like, is it good or not? You know, like you're making me not want to sing it. And I'm like, I didn't even think about it like that. And I'm like, you know what? It is good. I'm proud of it. Let's do it. And then when they hear it and they started singing it, they're like, fuck, it's fucking good. Like, we like this. You know what I mean? And we're like, oh, wow.
It was bumping.
Yeah.
Like, I'm down with this.
Yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean? But I was so insecure about it. But I'm like, you know what? I'm done being that way. You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm saying. You have to be more secure in it. And that's when mediums and psychics and card readers, whatever it is, like, when they're good at what they do is because they become so secure in who they are that they're not afraid to like speak their mind or like say yes or no to things. And because you know yourself so well at that point in that industry, you feel it in your body. Like you there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score. It literally tells you
I've heard of that.
I like
how the body keeps that trauma. So like I mean, we've all had trauma. I've had a very traumatic childhood, and reading that book, it like opened my eyes to be like, oh my God, that's why I have gut issues. That's why I have this. That's why I have that. That's why my head hurts all the time. Like certain things was because of certain trauma that I was holding on to, and I wouldn't let go, that it was affecting my body at
Physically,
the time.
it was showing itself.
Exactly.
Before we get to our final thoughts, I know you brought your cards and you want to do a general reading, like, because I know you and Nicole do this all the time. Like, I feel like people need to hear
I'm excited.
This message.
I'm always like, I don't know who needs to hear this, but
yeah, I love that. That's my favorite
looking
series.
straight at him, you're
But-
like,
That's my
But
favorite series. And then when I click on it, I'm like, oh, this message isn't for me. But I
Like, dang
love
it.
it. But I'm always in it. I'm like, wait, I love going through the, I don't know who needs to hear this, but you need to leave them. I don't need to
Yes.
hear this, but you need to leave your job.
But yes,
So-
go.
But I know you wanted to pull a card.
Yes. I grabbed both of my decks just because I love Nicole's deck.
It's
but
so beautiful.
I'm going to use my Work Your Light Oracle deck because it's just my go-to all the time. I just kind of bring all my decks out. And this is what I do every time that I'm doing like a Zoom reading, a voice note reading. I'll just kind of like, I'll sit in my room and like think about, let's say if I was doing it for a certain person, I'll say their name and be like, what does this person need to hear? In this scenario, I'll be like, what does the universe need to hear? What do my people need to hear?
Yeah, what do the listeners need to hear
What
right
do
now?
the
If you're listening to
podcasters-
this right now, this is a
I don't
message
know who needs
for
to
you.
hear this, but
Yeah, we don't know who needs to hear this, but this for you.
I always just shuffle my cards a couple times.
Is there a right or wrong way to do it? Just kind of your thing.
I just shuffle them like 2 or 3 times,
I'm
and
a
then
bad shuffler.
I move it around and then kind of get drawn to a card and stop. So funny. So the card I pulled was the transformation card.
Ooh.
Things are changing at a cellular level. Deep healing. Put it out there for you guys. With this one, I don't know, whoever follows me, get figgy with it. I posted in, I think, the New Year's Day that 2024 was like a hard one for a lot of people. And if it was one of you, 2025 is going to be like life-changing. It's going to transform you. It's going to make you... It's like a flower. You're gonna be blooming this year, and I feel like a lot of people had a really hard year in 2024. In 2025 is kind of them coming back from that hard year and being able to transform, grow, learn, heal, do therapy. And for some reason, I'm being told to say therapy a lot lately because I feel like a lot of people are getting to that age where they're wanting to make a transformation in their life, but they don't know how. And therapy is like the number one way to like start that healing and transformation era for you. So 100%, you're a queen, you're a king. You're going to transform into the best version of you this year. You guys deserve the best, and you guys will get the best this year. Of course, there's going to be ups and downs all the time, but for sure, it's going to be a great year for all of us.
I love that. Yay. I was just telling him, I was like, I feel like this is going to be like a great year.
Yeah.
My astrology has things looking up for me.
I don't know why. I just like the vibe, the energy coming into there just feels like it's going to be like a better year than the past 2-3 years have been for a lot of people.
That's so good to hear, especially coming into a new presidency.
Oh my God.
Like, I needed.
Let's not talk about that.
I needed that.
I will say this is my first time seeing you, meeting you, anything, and your energy is so good.
I love that.
it.
Thank you.
I like it a lot.
I know you left a message with, a card reading, but is there something, especially women and aspiring entrepreneurs who want to take that leap of faith but feel like scared or stuck? What's something you want to leave with those people? Because you're living it. You're doing it.
Yes. Don't be scared. Don't doubt yourself. I feel like we all have insecurities. We all are scared of something. We all fear something. But this is what I always tell myself. What are you going to be more scared of? To say that I tried and failed, or the what if? Mm-hmm. Are you going to be scared to be like 80 years old and be like, what if I would have done that one time?
Right.
Or are you going to be scared to say I was at 80 years old, I did it and I failed, but I liked it. And I tried another thing and I kept trying and trying. Like, you're never going to regret trying and failing. You're going to regret the what ifs. Mm-hmm. And that's literally what I tell everybody. Like, what if you succeed? Yeah. What if it's a thing? And this kind of sticks out to me right now because when I was doing hair, I had a client that I was doing her hair and she was like, I want to do a food truck and I don't know how to start. And I'm like, just start. Mm-hmm. And she started it. And I think it's still going on. I think it was like in 2021 when I used to do her hair. And she opened a food truck with her husband. She quit her job.
Wow.
And she was able to like full on do that. So it's like, what's the worst that can happen?
That's so inspiring. Yeah. I always feel the same thing. I'm like, well, what if this and I need that? And what if this happened? And then I'm just like, there's so many people out there that are just doing it and figuring it out along the way.
And that's exactly what I say. Just figure it out. The hardest part is to start. Once you start, you get the groove. If it fails, it fails, and you move on to the next.
I love that.
Yes.
Where can we find you?
You can find me at Figgy Beauty for hair needs. And then get Figgy with it for the card readings. I'm kind of rebranding this year because, like I said, I feel like it's a new year, new me. The Figgy part of my name came from my marriage name.
Okay.
It's Figueroa. When I was working at a 9 to 5 at Chase, my manager would call me Fig or Figgy. Mm-hmm. So that's where the barbershop name is Fig's Barbershop. And then my name was Figgy Beauty because he would call me Figgy.
Yeah.
But since I've divorced, it's been like almost 2 years now, and new life, new vibe. I want to rebrand, so soon it'll be something new. I don't know what yet, but
we'll keep you updated.
But it'll be there.
She's gonna be our friend.
Yes.
And Figgy is going to be offering a special to our listeners. So if you've made it this far and you've listened, Figgy says that if you message her.
So I normally do like one question Wednesdays or one question something for $50. You can ask me any question and I'll answer based off cards or whatever I'm feeling. Or you can do like a general reading and I'll just pull like several cards and kind of do a collective what the universe wants you to know. So I'll keep that for this podcast. If you guys tell me you heard me on A Tad Bit Older, I will do a $50 reading with voice notes sent over to you.
Oh, that's a good deal. Damn.
Through Instagram, through messages, through email, whatever it is. I'll send the voice notes. And like I said, ask me a question or general reading.
Yay.
Nice.
Got you, ladies and guys.
Yeah.
I was going to say, do you do a lot of guys too?
Do you do a lot of guys?
I mean,
she said she was dating.
I told her I'm in a relationship.
Let me rephrase.
Do a lot of men get readings?
Yes.
I don't get a lot of messages from men to read them, but when I do the events with Nicole and stuff, I will get men that come up to me to do readings, and those are really hard to do for men because men they're taught to be very guarded and like don't show your emotions, so it's hard for me to tap into that aura, that vibe of them. But it's funny because whenever I do readings, they're always like, oh my gosh, like you're dead on.
Break them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh my God, how'd you know that?
Bathroom at?
Yeah.
Like,
where do I go? But yeah, I like reading the man because it's fun to see that like surprises when I'm saying certain things. They're like, what?
Yeah. So I gotcha. Got him.
Cool.
They're turning. They're coming to me for sure.
Well, I have enjoyed talking with you so much.
This is a pleasure.
This is going to be like part 1, part 2.
Bring me over whenever you want.
We will have Figgy back. Like I said,
we need Figgy Fridays.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yes.
New series. But yeah, like I said, you can find her on Get Figgy, Get Figgy with it, or Figgy Beauty. And we will keep you updated when that name changes. But go follow her. Go like her. She is offering our listeners a special. And we just thank you. Like, you just made history. You are our first guest. And we will never forget you.
Never.
I love
you. set the bar really high.
You sure did. I love it.
You hear that, people?
All right, everybody. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
That was amazing. Yeah. I could take forever.
Yeah, you're gonna find it so much. Like burning down.
I always like sit there and think like, oh my God, questions I asked you. I'm like, ooh, what about this?
Yeah, you could. I mean, you could ask.